banyak salahnya. Kau pikirkan apa aku masih sendiri. Ku lepas kacamata, apa kau lebih suka? Ku yang tak mau kalah.
Di samudra terbentang khatulistiwa, di situ ku ada bersamamu saudara. Beragam warna kita, suku tak selalu sama. Kau aku Indonesia yang disatukan karena cinta. Karena kita Indonesia, jangan pernah terpecah belah. Walau kita berbeda, walau kita tak sama, tetaplah satu kita, kita Indonesia sesungguhnya.
Dear listeners, good afternoon and welcome to the afternoon talk of Voitalk. And today we will be discussing the recent fire incident in Hong Kong, which involved several Indonesian citizens. This conversation aims to provide clarity regarding the situation on the ground, victim handling, and the role of Indonesian authorities through collaboration with local institutions. Today we are joined by Ms. Nathalia Widjaja, President of Indonesia Diaspora Network, who will share the latest developments and insight on this matter. Hello, Bu Nathalia. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. How are you?
Hello, Voice of Indonesia and everybody in the world. Yes, we are fine here. Thank you so much for inviting us.
Yes, we are very glad to have you here. So, Bu, how are the conditions of the Indonesian citizens affected by the fire, and what triggered this incident according to the evidence and investigation conducted by the Hong Kong police?
Okay, so now all of us, we know that Hong Kong government has been already very fast, always as before, to maintain and to make sure that everybody in Hong Kong is sure in a good situation or in a good condition, including for the type of fire as well. So the Hong Kong government making big effort to, in order to make sure that everybody is relocated well and then in a good situation. So regarding to the cause of the fire itself, so many of us, we suspected that is because of the styrofoam or the material that is used for the renovation of the buildings. Because as we know, the buildings, 7 buildings were under renovations, and they were using a kind of a styrofoam material that caused a fire. But now, by the 2nd of December, several days ago, our Chief Executive of Hong Kong, Mr. John Lee, he has just been set up a special or independent committee to be led by a judge to examine a comprehensive review the cause of the fire and the related issues in order to prevent the similar tragedies for occurring again in the future. So we just now waiting for the independent committee to release the cause of the fire itself. Yeah, and and back to your question, how is the situation or the conditions of the victims right now? So everybody, especially for the Indonesian, all of them, they are relocated to some houses like guest houses, and then some of them they are now in the government places, relocating houses, and as well as in boarding houses of the agency, because as we know, many of them they are migrant workers in Hong Kong. But they are still working, but they are in a good situation right now. But unluckily we have 9 people, 9 Indonesian citizens confirmed passed away, and while 1 still in the hospital, and as well as 22 are still missing right now. Yep.
You mentioned how the police of Hong Kong are very fast. And we want to know what steps have been taken by the Hong Kong authorities to manage the victims. Is there any collaboration with KJRI Hong Kong in handling this situation?
Oh yeah, sure. Because all of us, we have been very fast to handle this kind of very emergency situation. So on the first day, when the fire occurred, so the Indonesian consulate, the KJRI Hong Kong, sent some government officials to directly connect to always discuss and to be always connected with Hong Kong government as well as with the civil society organizations, is including we call it Diaspora Peduli. We set up, so under Indonesian Diaspora Network Global Chapter Hong Kong and Macau, we set up a group, we call it Diaspora Peduli, and then all of us, we work together, we coordinate each other to achieve the best benefits for our Indonesian citizens in Hong Kong. So, and a lot of efforts that we have been doing, like we are giving financial support for the victims, as well as some other emotional support, like doing counseling work. And accommodation support, and also some relief supplies and donations. And for Hong Kong government, they are very fast. They have a special task force for investigation and the regulations, and task force for emergency support and fundraising, and task force for emergency accommodation, and also and task force on the welfare support. So it's kind of like very systematic and very fast.
We are glad to hear that. And could you explain how the repatriation process for the bodies of Indonesian victims is going to be carried out?
Yes, as we know, as per today, we have been identified 9 Indonesian citizens passed away. And in Hong Kong, the repatriation process has been always like we have to do step by step by the procedures. The first step is identification of the dead body. So of course, it takes some other procedures to identify the dead body. And the second step is autopsy. This is very important. The important step how to do the autopsy of the dead body because by doing the autopsy, then the claim of the insurance can be released to the family of the victims. So it usually takes like around 14 days of the process of the identification and the autopsy. And after autopsy, then the certificate, the death certificate will be released by the government, by Hong Kong government. And after the certificate released, and then around 7 days, the death body can be removed or the repatriation back to Indonesia. So also the whole process, the normal process or the fastest process should be taken around 3 weeks, 21 days. Through this platform, we would like to urge the family of the victims, or especially the passed away victims of the type of fire, to help us to sign or to give the consent for the autopsy to the dead body. The reasons why, because the autopsy process is very important, and then after the autopsy process and the death certificate can be released by the Hong Kong government, and only by the autopsy process, then the claim of the insurance can be given to the family of the victims. Yeah.
You mentioned about the support that is being provided for the victims, including emotional support, even counseling. We want to know what rights and forms of support that are being provided other than that to Indonesian citizens that are affected by this case. Are there any official statements or policies issued by the Hong Kong authorities regarding this matter?
Yes, now we are still mapping. We are still in the process of mapping how many Indonesian citizens are affected. In total, and also apart in terms of the numbers of the victims, we are also mapping the demands or the needs of every victims, because we know until today, up for today, 9 passed away, and then 1 in the hospital, and then still 22 are missing, and a part of them, they are still 108 people. They are survivors. But we are still mapping what kind of demands or needs that they need us to work together with them. The Hong Kong government themselves, they have scheme to help the victims of the Taibo fire. So it depends of, like, for example, so for the victims that passed away, the deceased victim, as a solidarity from the Hong Kong government will release approximately around, in total is 800,000 Hong Kong dollars. It's including around 200,000 for a token of solidarity, and then 50,000 Hong Kong dollars to cover the funeral cost, and then as well as several 100,000 Hong Kong dollars to be given to the family of the deceased victims to one payoff for the deceased victims, for the family. And how about for all the victims who are not passed away, who are still survive or in the hospital, or the survivors of the victims who are surviving? So the Hong Kong government will be given each of them emergency subsidy, 10,000 Hong Kong dollars and other subsidy from the government.
And now, of course, we also want to know about the affected Indonesian citizens, their families. How can affected Indonesian citizen or their families contact KJRI Hong Kong or the responsible parties for assistance? And of course, you mentioned that you need information from the families. So how can they contact you guys?
Yes, as we know, the identification of the victims is a very important process in this kind of the whole process. So the KJRI Hong Kong and all of us, so because KJRI Hong Kong cannot work by themselves, so we have to work together with the KJRI Hong Kong. So all of us, we need in the process of identification of the victims, so KJRI Hong Kong worked closely with the CSO as well as with the agencies, as well as with the Hong Kong police to identify the victims itself, the numbers of the victims and the passed away and so on. So in this process, the whole process, of course, the KJRI Hong Kong also will reach out the family of the victims to make sure and to identify whether they are a part of the families. So to reach out, if you miss some family or you cannot contact some families who work in Hong Kong, so please don't be hesitant to contact the hotline of the KJRI, or please contact the Indonesian Diaspora at Global Chapter Hong Kong. We welcome you.
Thank you very much, Bu Nathalia, for sharing the latest information and providing a clearer understanding of the situation. Thank you so much, Bu.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
We hope that ongoing cooperation and support can help ensure protection and recovery for our fellow Indonesians affected by this incident. And to everyone watching, thank you for joining us on Afternoon Talk. See you on the next Talk of Voice of Indonesia, from Indonesia to the world.